We had a difference of opinion. He was basically like, look, the fancy ads don't work. He's probably right. He's got data, but I can tell you from my experience, when we go more premium, we get less at bats, but that's intentional.
Yes.
And when we go on the sale, our average job size is higher. It happened today. I landed a job on the spot and we're sitting down and she goes, I saw all your stuff on Instagram. And I was just like, man, those premium ads get us into the right doors that we want to be in.
A lot of people don't realize that data is telling us that people are consuming 7 hours on social to make a decision now. Can you imagine a guy like you versus a guy who doesn't use Instagram at all? Who's going to get that customer?
I had to paint the path.
What if you had something like this?
It's going to be a little bit controversial maybe.
When you shift your operating pattern, just journal, brain dump, and just execute what your brain just put on paper.
Most painters don't have the finances down to a science.
Look, I've been here for like a minute. Feel like some of y'all forgetting. I got it high in the city. First one.
What's going on, painting entrepreneurs, painting community, home service entrepreneurs alike? Aiden Smith here with the Paint Your Path podcast, and I'm joined by the great and powerful, my co-host, Mr. Joel.
What is going on, brother? How you doing?
Doing good, man. What's going on is we're blocking out the haters, number one.
Yeah.
But we're also blocking out the limiting beliefs.
I love that. You had the shades on, I had to put mine on, dude. So let's go.
A lot of that happening, man. Like, these guys can't figure it out. It's like they're stuck. They're stuck in the mud, as Conor McGregor once said. Stuck in the mud. In their own mess.
Yes. This is gonna be a fun one today.
What do we do with them?
Well, you know, the limiting belief is not even attempting the actual action. So what happens is a lot of people they hear it, but they can't see it, right? So like the limiting belief keeps getting in the way because they haven't even taken the actions to even let it fail or work. So then that limiting belief just gets stronger because they haven't done it yet. And that's what I'm noticing a lot common lately.
I agree. Totally, man. Like, if you think about it, right? So I just put out that skit the other day of like Paint Joe, right? Of the guy that's like scrambling on the phone, taking touch-ups, just phones off the, charts, and just doesn't have it together. Not operating like one of our dialed-in clients, Let's just be real. Once we get somebody dialed in, man, it's night and day. And what I saw was a lot of the people that commented were people that used to be like that and were like, hey, when I first met you, that was me, right? And they had to break down certain limiting beliefs to make sure that now they look back and say, how is that ever me? And people get stuck in that cycle of like, they can't get to the next step. They can't put the things behind them. They get stuck in their processes that they've been doing for years, not even knowing it's a problem, and they're stuck in the mud. So you just did some in-person coaching, as I kind of did. I was more just like hanging out and doing some in-person stuff, but like you were actually doing some hands-on coaching. Could you share a little bit about what you saw and kind of how you went about it? Yeah,
a lot of it's, so I've done this a few times already. I've done a few clients this year so far. The commonality that I'm noticing when I call the fly-in coaching, when I come to a business and audit is, too busy, right? Like the framework of I'm too busy. And what happens is it's just a lack of focus on the things that need to be fixed, right? So when people get too busy, I say, is because they're so focused on something that's different than really what matters. So like, for instance, if you're stuck selling, right, you're the one that sells and runs production. Well, which one do you focus on? And I've noticed that, some guys are more sales driven. So then they completely let go of production. They don't focus on production. And then they go, well, I don't know what to do. Well, it's like, well, you have a production issue, so you got to fix it. Well, I'm doing estimates. Well, of course, it's going to be difficult to fix production if you're in the middle of an estimate 4 times a day, right? So just things like that, communication. I have handoffs, kind of like, hey, from office, this should be handoff to sales handoff back to office or to production. So those are things that I noticed. So we tweaked a couple things on my last fly-in, which was really cool. Like communication was one where office needs to speak to the production manager. So roles, goals, expectations, right? Versus calling the owner and having to have the owner explain themselves multiple times. They might as well have just done it. So clean that up. And then also the perspective of like what should be done on the job site. So we had a job site that there was 4 guys on there. And I just kind of showed them like, hey, look what's being missed. Like there was a section that needed to be prepped, but yet these guys are painting over here. And I'm like, guys, like, who's in charge? What role are you playing? What tasks do you have? So when we're doing that, what happens is now you start to see the clear picture that everyone's kind of doing their own thing, and there's no clear photo of like, hey, so-and-so, you should be caulking everything. You should be the one that does this one task, start to finish, not just this section. Like, this task is what you do throughout the whole project. That way we know who to hold responsible, and we know who did or didn't do their task. Next person, oh, you're going to do fascias? Then you should roll out all the fascias, because that was the plan. They had one guy spraying and then him behind them rolling out the fascias. Okay, great. Well, why is all this trash on the ground? Like, have a setup station where there's a trash bag in each setup station, so that when we're unmasking and throwing stuff away, it's all being done at once so that we're not picking up, right? Foreman, there's wood on the ground. Great. You're the foreman. You're there. You're the one that has the big truck. Let's grab the wood. Let's grab all the fascias now, so that we don't have any excuses at the end of the job that they couldn't finish it today because they have trash and wood still here. We're already here. We have an empty truck. Let's load. Let's go. So like, there's just so many details that I was able to really pick on in one job. The same thing with even as simple as we have a sprayer, right? He's spraying all the wood, and then you have wood frames that's going a different color, and just teaching as simple as like how to use the roller so it's not overlapping on the other side of the frame, so that you have to come back and retouch that up. Like, a lot of wasted time that I was able to teach and coach methods and techniques, how to paint properly so you don't have to come back. And then when you do 2 touch-ups, do both colors at the same time so that you can touch up both colors and unmask at the same time to be more efficient. So there's a lot of things like that like I don't know on a phone call, right? Like,
sure.
When I'm actually at a job, I can break it down and be like,
see it.
This is how I run production. This is what I would do differently. So I know that was long-winded, but I wanted to go into details of like what I see at a job site.
A lot of people are probably doing these same things, right? Yeah. And when you do a fly-in coaching, right, have someone who has seen it at every level, done it themselves, and understands that, like we always say, proper preparation prevents poor performance,
100%.
Right? And it sounds like these guys aren't taking the time during the week to really plan and revise.
Correct.
Right?
You have to do an audible sometimes or pivot. Yeah.
Dude, what are you doing every weekend, right? You're prepping, you're getting things ready for the week. You're looking at your calendar. You're saying, okay, here are my meals. Here is my appointments. Here's everything we got going on. That allows you to execute properly, right?
100%.
And you found that taking a little bit slower, getting it right in the beginning, taking some time, putting it aside to really plan everything gets you way more efficient and better results.
Oh,
right?
100%.
We could all wake up Monday morning and just go, but it's like, you're not going to get the same impact that week.
100%, brother. And I love the fact that you're talking about that subject, because I just had a one-to-one call this morning. I did the same thing with another client for production, right? Their goal is 60K a week, and they ended up doing 83,000 last week. And I was like, how did that feel? It was a lot of pressure. We did it, but it was a lot. I'm like, okay, well, why did you overproduce when your goal 60? Well, we have more guys. And I'm like, okay, well, here's the thing. There's so many details to this, right? If you haven't done 60 properly over and over, week in and week out, why would you overproduce something that you haven't perfected yet, right? So I slowed them down today, and I was like, listen, like, I don't want you to do 80. I want you to do 60, and I want you to do 60 so well, 5-star reviews. I want you to do 60 clean, great quality control. I want you to do 60 where the production manager feels great that they're seeing consistent wins and not a full fire hose down their throat. You know what I mean? So that's important. And that's why these numbers are super important, and really focusing on consistency. And that's why I love doing the fly-in and then seeing what's going on in the business, because the same thing as you look at, like, this is what the guys don't understand, why you do production rates. Consistency, right?
Yeah.
Like, when someone wants to even talk about, hey, what's the comparison between you and this other contractor? Okay. Did he do it in 20 minutes? Great. Did you see him measure anything? No. How can you compare my price with his?
Yeah.
If he did that estimate 5 more times, it'd probably be 5 different ways, right? I'm assuring you, this is my process. This is why you hire us. So that's a good
think about going back to the limiting beliefs, right? Like, the reason that you can't see the other side of what you're trying to do, where you're trying to go, or, oh, this person's doing this, how are they doing this, is because you haven't audited yourself. Right? You haven't laid it all out and say, this is how we're doing things. Where is the hiccup in our process, right? Like, I'm sure that if you had your client before you even went out there, say, hey, let's go through here's kind of prep for me to come out, right? Let's look at what you do in a day, start to finish, then for a week, and then all the leaders in your company. Let's look at their entire days and weeks. And I guarantee by the time you show up, he's going to already say, I've found 5 holes already.
Oh, yeah.
Now we're ahead of the game. Now we're better prepared for this meeting, and you're open-minded because you've seen it now, right? Where there's humps in the company that we have to kind of flatten out. And they're going to have a way better experience and get so much more out of it.
Here's the cool part too, is it takes, and I'm proud of these people. Like these guys are awesome because it takes a lot for someone to say, hey, I will listen to everything you have to say about my company. Because, we got pride, right? We're like, hey, like I built this, it's up to this point. I've done all this. It takes a lot for someone to say, hey, go ahead, come audit me and be just deadly honest with me. And I really want to applaud these guys because it's difficult, right? Like, I know it would be hard for me if a coach came to my company and was like, dude, fix this, do this, you've done that, did that. Like, I would be like, oh my God, like this is a lot for me. But it does take a lot for that. And the cool part is now I can't wait for another 30 days to hop back on here and be like, this is what's shifted already based off of seeing what was in front of them and what changed already. So super pumped, man. It's going to be fun.
Oh, dude, 100%. And like you said, shout out to those guys because I think those are the guys that listen to the pod that understand like, hey, I'm willing to get better and I know I have to do whatever it takes. So if I have to take some advice from Joel, Aiden, based on vaguely what they're saying, right, and try to apply it, like that takes balls and courage. And what they're going to do is now put themselves in a position to be vulnerable enough to make changes and now get ahead, right? And they might have to slow down the speed up. Like we talk about that a lot. Like what you're doing right now, trying to go and bull run to $1 million or $2 million, it's not the best thing for your team, the morale, the culture, right? A lot of people suffer on the health in their personal life because they're trying to just hit a goal and look good on social media. And it's like, look, you got to block out all the noise at some point. And I think that's the benefit of having a coach to where you can open up with them and understand like, hey, I'm following the lead. And I know that if he recommends something, even though, it's not the best revenue wise, like you said, right, with the production going from 80 to 60, doesn't feel as good to do that. But guess what? Your PM's now saying, thank goodness. Wow, we had a clean, easy week. Wow, what happened? Like our systems are getting better. And then he goes, 80 felt easy, 100 felt easy. And now fast forward a year, you doubled the company and it's like, and it feels better. You have more confidence to build now.
Yes, I love that. And that's why we're wearing the stunner shades on today. We're blocking out the noise and the limiting beliefs.
That's it, man. Anything that you guys got going on, man, there's an answer, but you can't just be going looking into social media and whatnot and try and have a one size fix all thing,
100%. Couldn't agree more. So
we see too much of it.
Curious too. I mean, you flew out of state and did some stuff too. What did that look like for you?
Yeah. So like you said, like when you hear something on a Zoom, you can make your, okay, here's what I think of this situation and how we dissect it. But when you get in person, it's just nothing like it, right? You understand the market that much better. You understand the people, the culture, right? Because I think one of the most underrated things is who are the people you are selling to, right? Because you'll get beat up a lot and think like, damn, why am I not selling? But then you do some research and you look into it and you're selling to a more rental area or an area that's a little lower income or an area that doesn't really care too much about the actual community, right? They just want like the best bang for their buck. And I went out to Montana and I felt like those people genuinely cared about doing a great job, right? Yeah. And so when you're talking to homeowners like that, how easy does it make the sale? And I don't mean easy in the fact that like you're just going to be closing left and right, but like at least you know that at bat is a little bit better.
100%.
Because you're positioned as the premium guy. So when you're going to someone who cares and wants premium work, now you're having a conversation that actually makes sense.
Love that.
Whereas in my area, there's some pockets where I'll go to an estimate and it'll be like, they look at me like I got these shades on at the table. You know what I'm saying? And we can't even like get to striking distance. And, some of that you look inwards, but at the end of the day, you can't look past the fact that it might just not be the right client.
Yes.
So it's kind of why we talked about, I think, a couple episodes. Some people open locations intentionally in higher income areas, in areas where they know this is good clientele, right? You hear people say, oh, there's money there. That's a good sign. Might take a little bit hard, longer to penetrate, but guess what? Once you get it rolling, man, Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yeah, man. I have a whole new perspective now too. Like, and of course it's when I'm not in my painting company. But dude, if I could redo it again, I would totally switch the play. I would focus on really just high-end jobs and do 1 or 2 jobs a week at a highest level. Cause I do thoroughly enjoy what a paint job looks like at the end. Like, it's so beautiful.
Bro,
like,
I actually got something to say on that, brother.
Good.
We just did Routimize, and shout out to our sponsor, first
Absolutely.
of all. DripJobs put on a freaking amazing show. I know it was Tanner. It's not DripJobs, but like Tanner put on Routimize, 12 speakers. We came with absolute game, as always. We kept it fun. We kept it high energy. And we wanted to give value to our brother who, you know, gave us a chance. But if you're looking for a CRM that's dialed in, that has all the automations, the estimating, the job costing, the AI, that's ahead of the curve, DripJobs is for you, all the home service professionals out there. Path 30, our promo code, will get you 30% off for 3 months. So take advantage of that. Link in the description. We went on and we did Routimize, and I was listening to the guy before me, and I don't know him, but like, shout out to him, whatever, right?
Yeah.
We had a difference of opinion actively.
Ooh. Okay.
Yes. So as a marketer, and he has his painting business as well, so he has his own data and whatnot. He was basically like, look, the fancy ads don't work. The put together premium ads don't work. He's probably right. He's got data. That means you get a lower CPL, right? When you go more raw and more kind of like organic, we'll say. He probably has more sales with those types of ads. But I can tell you from my experience and working with my clients, when we go more premium, we get less at bats, but that's intentional.
Yes.
And when we go on the sale, our average job size is higher. Our intention and the customer experience is way better, right? Because the clients are like, wow, I spent a little bit more, but guess what? I got exactly what I wanted. I know it's with a great contractor, and I saw it from start to finish, and I chose them. It happened today. I landed a job on the spot, 8K exterior, and we're sitting down, and she goes, I saw all your stuff on Instagram. And I was just like, man, they do great work. And I'm like, oh, so you guys want to go with us? Like, this is great.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have had that if I didn't put out organic content for my ads like that. And we have a good mix, but like, we see that those premium ads get us into the right doors that we want to be in.
100%.
That's my opinion.
A lot of people don't realize, like, right now, the data is telling us that people are consuming 7 hours, like not just sitting in 7 hours, but 7 hours of consumption on social to make a decision now. So like, can you imagine a guy like you versus a guy who doesn't use Instagram at all? Who's going to get that customer? Probably 100%. You, right? Because they're like, all right, this guy's investing more time. He's educating us on videos. He's doing more content. We got to know his personality. We're seeing his reviews. His website looks good. His company looks good. Oh, someone answered the call and it sounded like they have a process and a system that sounds good too. Versus how you did that video. Dude, I was dying when you're like, yeah. The estimate roughly is going to be like, hey, hold on 1 second. It's like that's just too much chaos for a phone call for a customer, and be like, hey, like, you know, that there's still contractors out there like that. And if you guys can really focus on your content game, that's the new currency now. People want to buy from people they trust, and they can tell your personality based off your organic reach. And I mean, gosh, before interviewing now, I would be watching people's socials before I even try to interview them.
100%.
What kind of character do they have? What type of integrity do they have based off of what I'm seeing? Because anyone can interview well, like a professional can be professional well face to face, but yet behind the scenes, you see them partying like crazy and doing some bad things that maybe you don't align with. Do you want to hire that professional? Probably not. Yep. So it's like, you know, really focus on the socials and get that going. I think that's helping a lot nowadays.
I mean, 7 hours is a long time, bro.
Mm-hmm.
To look up somebody's content, and you want to get to the point where they feel like they already know you.
100%.
Right? And that's kind of what I was talking about even in my talk, was like, there's this funnel.
Yes, I saw that.
And a lot of people have a funnel set up, but there's things missing, right? And then they're like, man, I can't close. And it's like, well, you're not pre-qualifying. Your ads aren't, strong, right? You're getting lead sources that you're competing with 6 other guys from the beginning. People aren't choosing you. So once you get that funnel dialed in, that's when you become that 7-figure plus company consistently. Yep. And you can say, hey, we have these different channels that work great. And here's how we do it at every step. And we can get people that maybe are a little bit off and kind of reroute them right to where we want them to be. And I think one of the key ones is what to expect video. You know, that what to expect video goes a long way, because no matter where you come from in my lead sources or pipeline, I know you're going to see the YouTube video that will impress you and that will show you me and will get me ahead of the curve, as far as like, I've seen that guy before. I see his work. It gives me a better at bat on the sale.
100%. I love that you say that, because like I've even been telling people too, once that you sign up, don't stop there either, right? Have that funnel continue. What does that funnel look like on the follow-up process? Also, what to expect on an interior when they purchase an interior job. Why not have a video for what to expect on interior? Hey, just so you know, we're going to have all furniture moved in the center. We're going to have plastic, da, 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 da. Awesome. Now you have a video for that. Or your exterior, we're going to pressure wash, make sure all your windows are closed, doors are safe and, you know, fastened properly. Like all those things are really good to do after as well. So,
you know what I also think is something to kind of highlight and kind of put our audience onto is you should be understanding your market thoroughly. What do I mean by that? I'm gonna steal your line. What do I mean by that? You need to understand what your clients deal with, what they're looking for, what they care about, so you can speak their language. Okay. If you're near the coast, you need to be talking about how the salt is eating up their exterior paint job. If you're in the Northeast, you need to talk about how the different weather is rotting their wood from the inside out and there's nothing you can do about it, right? And there's all these climate variables and things you deal with in different areas that you need to be like harping on and really starting to make content. And that's how you're going to speak the language of the people that are looking to buy and what they care about. And when I actually recently had somebody come out, one of our Paint Pro guys, shadow me for a day. Really good time, man. Like, we just hit it off. We were closing, selling, you name it. We were doing it. And he was like, hey, man, I didn't know that people prime in Florida. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, you keep telling everybody that you guys prime instead of just paint. You know, a lot of people just go duration or emerald straight to the surface. And I'm like, well, out here we have a lot of oxidation because of humidity. So we have to prime first with like a Loxon sealer. And he's like, you need to talk about that more. Like, most people probably aren't doing that. And I'm like, I might have just been kind of skipping over it. Like, oh, that's just like one of the processes. But I need to be like, no, one of the best things about working with us and what separates us that your other contractor might not do is we actually do an extra step and add a sealer on your paint or on your house before we paint. I think if I kind of like dug in and really said like, this other guy's not going to do it, it's extra security, that's going to get a lot more trust points and win a lot more sales.
I love that you mentioned that, because you're absolutely right. Those key points are the value that separates you from anybody other else. And now everyone's doing this, but we used to do the same thing with trenching. We would trench the foundation. Yeah. We would add, through Dun Edwards, it's called dry lock, which is like a masonry primer protective sealer as well on the foundation. But I guess you guys could use like Luxon or whatnot from Sherwin.
Yeah, I know exactly what that is, actually.
Yeah, and we were like one of the first guys doing that for a very long time. And then all of a sudden, all these guys started catching up because they were watching our bids.
Shit, now the Florida guy, take that back. We do not prime Florida guys, especially if you're in Orlando. We'd never prime, bro.
Yeah. But here's the cool part. People start catching on and they start moving forward with it. Now it becomes, I find this fun because now it's like, all right, everyone started trenching. They started using dry lock or Luxon on the foundation, but yet they didn't explain it properly, right? They would just say that's part of our process. And I'd be like, do you know why we do that? And they're like, no. Well, I mean, I noticed you have a flower bed here. So have you seen your drip filtration system right now? And I'm educating them on how the water's hitting that foundation the whole time, and we don't want any moisture coming in. Like no other contractors explaining those details that allow them to go, you're the guy, right? And that's where you guys come in as professionals, right? Even if we all offered the same thing, what are you explaining and not explaining that separates you from the rest? Like, if you're going to have a time to be an expert, what a beautiful time to show off your expertise on the why we do what we do. That's important too.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Dude, we're pioneers, bro. Let's just call it what it is, man. Like, we set it up and these guys just steal it, man.
Yeah,
and that's okay.
Go ahead. Have fun.
That's okay. That's okay, man. We want to professionalize the industry. That's why we're here. That's why we're doing this, man. We want to make sure guys are well equipped to be able to scale their company properly. 100%. And I think something that's not talked about enough that I'm very, very grateful that like even the coaches in our Paint Pro coaching, they're really about integrity of the trade, man. Like Oh my gosh. I mean, dude, when you talk to Josh, this guy, man, even if it's like not saying we do it, but like a white lie, right? Where it's like a little embellished, he'll tell me, nah, bro, can't, sorry. And I love that, dude. That's like one of my favorite things. Cause then that's how you know you can trust somebody, you know?
Facts.
You don't even have to worry about it.
Dude, I love the fact that you say that because I've even had a client ask me, hey, what should I do in this situation? Should I just tell them this? I'm like, no, you're lying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a way to just still be honest and educate them on what to do. And when I told them, hey, take action, just address the problem already. Don't wait. Literally 10 minutes after I called, hey, I addressed it. They felt great. They were cool with it. We didn't have to worry about it. And I'm like, look at all that space you just put in your mind, overthinking of how you should say something to this customer because you feared that they were going to say something else. You curated this whole story that took up like 20 minutes of our coaching call, right? That I did was tell them, hey, dude, just tell them the truth.
Yeah.
And like hear what they have to say and then have a solution on it. That's it. Man, and watch where it takes you. It's that
makes it hard to sleep at night.
Dude, yeah, I don't have time to lose sleep anymore nowadays. It's
facts.
It's what it is.
I got another kid, bro. It's what it is. And it's the limiting belief, right? That you can't operate like a high integrity contractor and have success.
Yeah, 100%, dude. You can. The honesty is everything, man. And if you could just tell people how it is and just be like, listen, I messed up.
I want to even further show you guys, because I just feel like since I've met Josh, man, there's a lot of people like this, but like him specifically, I just want to show him kudos because there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that doesn't come to the surface. Sure. And somebody left a review on his painting page, right? That never done work with him, but like thought they were like, oh, doing a cool thing. Like, oh, I'll do a review for you, right?
Oh, okay.
And he said, I will never respond to that review. It was just like, I've never done work for you. I will never respond to that review. And he was so adamant about that. But like I've always said, like, how you do one thing is how you do all things. So like,
facts,
man, I'd rather it be that way, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I love that. It says a lot about his character, right? Yeah. So that's awesome.
Well, hey, anybody listening, man, like what are you doing that are like embellishments, white lies, things that you know aren't really what they are 100%, but you're still rocking with it. And maybe you have a lot of things built up on that because a lie can just get doubled down, right? I mean, it could go for a while. It could define a lot of your relationships. Like, you don't want to live like that.
Brother, I love that you're talking about this topic too, because it's super important. Like even last week, I actually had to fire a client, not in a bad way, not in a bad way.
Sure.
I just told him, I'm like, dude, you don't need me anymore, dude. Like, go, birdie, fly out the nest, my man.
Damn. So you were basically like, hey, I did everything I need, man. I'm just collecting a check at this point.
Yeah. I felt that every time we met at this point, I'm like, listen, man, you don't need me anymore. Like, what's the purpose behind these calls? Why do you still want to meet? I just want to make sure I'm doing all the good things. Man, you got my number.
Right.
Call me and be like, yo, bro, I have a quick question. I ran into this situation. I've already built your systems. I've already taught you all the leadership you need for right now. If you in 5 years run into a issue that you grew too much, you have questions, see me then. But don't pay me to just be my friend, because I could be your friend for free. And I don't know. That's the same thing of what you're talking about, right? Like, you have to put a standpoint of like, hey, listen, this is just what it is. And that's how I was feeling. So I had to step up on that and make that decision. So
good for you, man.
Yeah.
It's a real man right there.
Hey, we're doing what we got to do, my man.
Yo, I also want to talk about a little bit of delegation, right? Because a lot of these guys are bogged down in their painting business, right? And, you know, you flew out somewhere and you see it. And, you know, I'm looking at things and I'm saying, okay, here's where your time's going and it's not getting you the results you need. And let's fast forward this 6 months and see where you're at, right? If you keep doing this, more stressed, less revenue, capped, stress on the business, right? And you need to start hiring an admin, implementing a PM, having real leadership and supervisors run the painting crews, okay? Now, with that being said, once you get that structure implemented, now it starts to become sales and leadership for you as the business owner. And some people even get out of sales, which is great.
Yeah.
But recently, so, you know, Durant started where he was at. This is so funny, full circle moment, right? So he started, you know, bogged down, same thing, no admin, on the tools, you name it, right? And then fast forward to today, we're working on something between like me and him doing whatever. And I tagged my email or my admin in email and I said, hey, you know, this is Durant, like, let's get this all going. And then he goes, hey, I'm looping in my admin.
Let's go.
I said, look at us just delegating like we can't be bothered to have an email chain going, dude. I thought it was the funniest thing
That
ever.
is dope, dude. It's the fact that you said delegation. I love that. That's awesome. And that didn't happen long, man. You guys got to him to get on that very quickly, which is really cool. Delegation is super important. It's not the how, it's the who, right? And a lot of people keep thinking about, oh, how do I get this done? No. It's who is going to get this done. And I was just, shout out to Manny, right? Like I was just with Manny last week. And I told him, hey, whoa, why are you doing that phone call? What do you mean? I was like, by the time you explained it, you could have already talked to the customer or taught it to somebody else that can take that over, right? So what a lot of people feel like they have to still be a part of something, you don't, guys. And I'm telling you this, it will buy you back some more time. So when you delegate, first, I always teach the coaching cycle. I don't know if I've ever said it on our podcast. I'll say it very quickly. I always tell people, visualize a clock. Inside a clock, you got a 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. At 12 o'clock, it's directive. That's 100% you. So I call it the 10-10 rule. So for the first 10 estimates, it should be you showing the way to do it, the measure, the production rates, DripJobs, or whatever you got going on. You show them step by step. They're just a fly on a wall for the first 10 estimates. Then they graduate to the 80-20 rule, which is at 3 o'clock, which means the next 10 estimates, 8 of them are you, 2 of them are them. Now you can watch them, correct them. Then the next one is the 20-80 rule, where 2 of them are you, the next 8 estimates is them. Then you get to delegation, which is at 9 p.m. So when you get to delegation, now it's 100% them. That's how I do my training cycle. So I learned, so by then you got 10, 20, 30. By 40, you would think they know how to freaking estimate by this time, don't you? Don't you think? Yeah. So 40 estimates in, come on. Like he's got to be able to figure it out. So now when there's a new task, you start all over to directive. And this is what happens with delegation. A lot of people try to delegate things too quickly. Where they haven't taught them through their coaching cycle. That's why I wanted to talk about the coaching cycle real quick. Because just because they're good at estimating doesn't mean they'd be good at answering a question in production, or maybe something administrative wise, or whatever the case may be that you're trying to delegate. So now you got to figure out who is the one that needs to be delegated to, and then who is the right one to take care of that certain situation. If you haven't taught them, it's very difficult for you to delegate that task to someone that you haven't taught yet.
Right, because then you'll just feel like, oh, I have to jump back in and do it myself. And it's a constant rat race you're going to be stuck in.
100%. And that's why I like that coaching cycle, because every time you teach them a new lesson, now you can start getting them back to the delegation and understanding those tasks. The quicker you do that, the faster you can get out of the day-to-day, whatever you're doing. So
yeah. No, man. And I think also the when is important too. So like based on our data and what we've seen works with painting contractors, we always say like get the admin and VA as soon as you can afford it. And I mean, we're talking a lot of times $300 a week. So it's like that should be like numero uno. Let's get that going. Cool. So now you have that into place. PM comes at about 3 crews or 7 to 9 painters. Where it's like, all right, cool. 2 crews I can pretty much sell and manage and have a supervisor on each crew and I'm good to go. But 3 is like, all right, a lot of moving parts here. Let's grab that. And the sales rep comes at $1 million. Like I've proven it. I have enough work. I have the leads, the foundation. I can set this up for success. And I think once, you pull these triggers too early, you just keep hitting the reset where it's like, shit, I can't figure it out. I don't know why this isn't working. And it's like, you need to hold the boats for a little bit. Until you get to a place where you feel confident enough to pull the trigger that these guys will actually be successful, because you're playing with someone's life. Not only that, but you also have to be able to afford it as a company. And going back on that sets you back a good 2 to 3 months, if not more.
Yeah, man. I love that you mentioned that, because like a lot of people don't realize the power of retention as well, right? So every time you have a revolving door to rehire someone, look at how much time and money you've lost doing that, right?
And morale lost.
Yeah, because then you just go, oh, I might as well just do it myself. No one can do it better than me. Well, that's false.
Yeah. Your other team's looking like, dude, this is the 4th sales rep in 2 months, bro. Like, what's happening?
Yes.
It's not good.
Yes. Love that, man.
And your clients, man, like, they're going to these estimates. They're getting to know this certain person, and it's like they're gone. And it's like, oh, well, sorry. That's not a good look, man.
100%. I love how you said it in order, though, because a lot of people, that's the first hire I do is admin. Immediately. because the faster I can delegate that, my focus now can be on something that's making me higher revenue, right?
You know what that is, right?
What's that?
It's the blueprint.
That is the blueprint, baby. So if you guys want to see us in September in Clearwater, Florida, let's get the
roadmap. Roadmap 2027, guys. September 17th to 19th. If you're a VIP, if you go general, it'll be 18th to 19th, but 2 days packed. Joel's going to be there. I'm going to be there, obviously. We're going to have here's the coolest thing that I want to put people onto, right? Yeah. So we just talked about that blueprint. We are going to have a planner that you can use, a business planner, a tracker, something that you can, for the foreseeable future, have as an asset for your business. So every year you can track weekly what's going on, monthly, quarterly, look at all the strengths, weaknesses, and we're going to teach you how you actually use this thing and make it tangible, connected to your CRM so that data flows properly. This is going to be game changing, guys. The software alone is worth it. So if you're interested, Roadmap 2027, man, it's going to be a small room, but a powerful room. We can't wait.
Can't wait. It's going to be sick, dude.
Oh yeah. Can't wait, man.
Yeah, man. Love it. So guys, if you don't hop in, like obviously you just heard the roadmap already. He said 3 crews immediately tells you where you need to be, which usually is roughly between $20,000 to $25,000 a week in production. It's usually what that number looks like. So you got 7,500, it puts you about 15K, so about 22.5, right, in production. But a 3-man crew, you already know that that's enough work for someone to be in production. You can afford it. Notice how he talked about the admin. He's talking about now, once you do $1 million, this is what a lot of people don't realize. When they want to delegate too soon and they yet don't even know what that road tastes like, how are you going to coach your people when they run into issues you've never seen or even understand? So the way Aiden just roadmapped that right there, I'm telling you, wait till you go to the actual event and you see all the pieces being put together, dude. It's going to be sick.
As we build this for these guys, right, that come, I'm excited for all the speakers to be able to supplement and say like, hey, you just saw it kind of written out like we just talked about. Here's what it looks like in action. Here's what road blocks you may run into that I coach every single day to help my clients get through, and you're going to get ahead of it. 100%. Right here. Just like we're breaking it down on the pod right now, right? Like when it comes to scaling, man, you need to know what's going to be ahead in that road so you're prepared. Yes. And then once proper preparation prevents poor performance. I mean, it goes back to that, right?
Yep.
So it's cool, man. And now I think people are starting to see, even listening to the pods consistently, like, man, there is a method that you can follow that is already written and proven. Like, why am I even wasting my time doing my own thing? Why don't I just make this faster? Make this process faster, get the answers to the test so I can slam dunk on my competition.
It's too easy.
Like through the legs, behind the back, fucking alley-oop on these dudes. What are we doing?
Yeah. Stop waiting. Let's do it.
It's insane. Yeah. So, man, I think limiting beliefs has been something that we've been tackling for a while. I remember in the beginning of my coaching, man, we very focused on, and I think you even know this, right? Is like, it was all systems. It was like the how-to, the setup of the details and the numbers. And it was like, I wasn't getting to these guys mindset-wise, right? Yeah. I wasn't having just open conversation and just saying like, what's going on? And once I heard them talk and we started doing that, we doubled, tripled down on that, because those were some of the most impactful conversations and coaching calls. And it was just unraveling all the head trash they had that they didn't even know was trash. It was just, this is how I've always done things. And then that a lot of times got the most impact.
It's always that way. Honestly, the cool part is that what people need to understand is the SOPs are probably the easiest thing. You just follow what it says. Done.
Exactly.
Right? It's this bad boy that gets in the way. And when you start to understand yourself, that's why self-mastery is super important. And when you want to lead more people, you need to lead yourself first. If you cannot regulate your mood, if you cannot identify what's going on in your head, I promise you cannot identify what's going on in somebody else's head. It's that easy. So you got to regulate you, and then you can regulate them. It's that simple.
Here's another thing I found, man. Up to $1 million, it is a matter of if you're game, if you're prepared, if you are dialed in to actually get there, right? Because if you're inconsistent, your habits aren't right. If you're not dialed in on self-improvement and leadership and really being the man of the show, it's going to be really hard to get any consistency and hit that $1 million mark. I mean, it just is what it is. And you really need to focus on that up to that $1 million. And then we can start doubling, tripling down on all the people that get along on board the systems and really starting to tighten things up, because even you get it a little bit better because you're more game to it and hip to it.
100%.
The best analogy I can think about is like if you have a manual car where you're doing the whole stick shift, and like you said, it's easy to just know how to boom, 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 boom. But if you have a jackass that don't really give a shit, who's all over the place, and he's just ripping it, bop, 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 you're going to break down and you're going to ruin that nice car, you know?
100%.
So a lot of people, I mean, think about it. How many people have nice painting businesses from the outside looking in? And then once you uncover that hood, you're like, what the hell is going on?
Too many, dude. And it's all perception. And yeah, man, I don't want to go there too deep, but yeah, let's, be careful. Don't compare yourselves to other people's, right? Like it's if there's one thing I could say, don't compare yourself to other painting companies. Focus and lock in on yours. Focus on what you're trying to do, what you're trying to achieve, and what matters most to you. That you'll stay successful as long as you focus on you. That's important for sure.
Comparison is the thief of joy, guys. Look straight. Stop looking left and right. It's not going to help you. And I promise that's another limiting belief. Like at first people feel like, oh, I have to go see what these other companies are doing. I got to get 3 estimates and see what my local competition is doing. It's like, guys, I promise you, if you looked inward more and looked at yourself in the mirror and you dialed that in, don't worry about what these other dudes are doing. You're going to crush it.
Yeah.
Promise you that. Your clients will even respect that so much more.
Yeah. It's the best investment, man, is self.
Amen. Shout out Joel. Shout out Paint Your Path. All our loyal listeners, guys. We're almost 100 episodes in. This is freaking amazing. We got to get some merch. I'm going to actually put it on my to-do list to get some merch. We're going to ship some out. We're going to get shit going.
Yes.
It's time, bro.
Let's do it.
All right, brother. Till the next one.
God bless.